friends, today we are going to talk about a problem which you face in everyday life. No moment of ours passes without some sort of stress working on us. Stress, gentlemen, is one of the major reasons of illness, worries, and deaths in the world at present. Stress is an automatic response of our nervous system to adverse or demanding situations. This is more prominent in student life as the stresses are numerous and our internal faculties are not yet developed to handle all of them. Differing and often conflicting requirements of emotional and physical parts of student life also put them under tremendous pressure, and hence it is imperative for all students to understand this all-pervasive phenomena and use it to their own advantage. Let's first of all understand some misconceptions about stress. Gentlemen, most of us associate stress with negative emotions which are generated under its influence. Stress was earlier generally considered as being synonymous with distress, and the dictionary defined it as physical, mental, or emotional strain and tension. Therefore, stress was put in a negative light and its positive effects were ignored. However, gentlemen, stress can be very helpful and good when it motivates people to accomplish more. What we fail to understand is that without stress in human lives, the human race will never progress and will extinct very soon. Gentlemen, stress keeps you focused towards your goals. It always reminds you of the task in hand and the consequences if you don't achieve it. One must accept the stress which keeps us motivated and reject the one which influences our lives negatively. This leads us to understanding of positive and negative stress. There are two types of stress mechanisms which are always at play in human lives. The negative stress leads us to think of the negative fallouts of our work, distracts us from furthering our aim, and ultimately leads to fall in productivity. The positive stress, on the other hand, keeps us on our toes and always reminds us of our aims and duties. It never allows us to sit idle, and the moment we do not do anything, it starts at work and keeps us from inactivity which we are likely to do at that moment. The stress, therefore, gentlemen, affects us both positively and negatively. Now, once we understand that the negative stress is bad, how do we identify it? It's important to understand when you are under influence of negative stress. Negative stress, if allowed to fester for a long time, can lead to serious body illnesses like ulcers, beside harming your productivity and efficiency. There are some signs which you must keep in mind to identify the negative stress. You can associate your behavior with negative stress if you have some of these symptoms like excessive smoking, use of pills or drugs, drinking, withdrawing from friends, families, activities, eating too much and that too junk food, procrastinating, not doing work, zoning out for hours, looking at your phone, filling up much of the time of the day to avoid facing problems, sleeping too much, or taking out stress on others. Identifying the symptoms of stress is therefore the first step in controlling the negative stress. Now, once you are aware that you are under stress, next thing will be to identify the source of your stress. That is the stressors. It isn't as straightforward as it sounds. While it is easy to identify major stresses such as changing school, moving, or relationship problems, pinpointing the sources of chronic stress, especially at students' level, can be too much complicated. It's all too easy to overlook how your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors contribute to everyday stress levels. To identify your true sources of stress, therefore, look closely at your habits, attitudes, and various excuses that you make. Identify each time you come under stress and note that down, keep a record. Until you accept responsibility for the role you play in creating or maintaining the stress, it will remain outside your control. Now, let's look at certain practical ways in which we can handle the stress in our day-to-day lives. The biggest cause of stress in students' life, especially in India, is expectations. A student is just a clown playing circus to the expectations of his parents, teachers, friends, relatives, and society. Every mother wants to see their daughter as Indra Nuri or Kalpana Chawla, and every father wants to see his son as an IIT engineer. No one tries to understand that your children are not you. Your internal faculties, dreams, and capabilities are different to those of your children. Your child may be having an artistic mind or he may be good in sports. By pushing him towards streams in which he is not at ease with himself, you are only pushing him towards chronic stress and unhappiness. Students themselves add to this stress by aiming beyond their capabilities. One must therefore make a realistic assessment of his own strengths and weaknesses, and until those weaknesses change drastically, he should accept the results also. One must have realistic expectations from his own self and also from his children. The next problem in human lives is uncontrolled desires, which invariably lead to stress. Today, you desire something, and before you have achieved that, your desire already changes to something bigger and more glitterier. This never ending race to uncontrolled desires is the cause of biggest worries, stress, and unhappiness in our lives. One must learn to differentiate between your actual requirements and excesses. Whenever you find that your need is changing to some excess greed, just nib it in the bud itself. You will be much happier and contented. One must therefore differentiate between his actual requirements and the excesses of the human mind in order to control desires and stay happy. And the most important mantra is the mantra of fearless living. This is living life without any worry or stress. While you must welcome positive stress and stay motivated with its help, you should summarily reject any worry or negative stress in your lives. One must understand that the only thing he can control is his actions. The results of these actions are with the powers that are beyond control of any human being. If you cannot control the results, is there any point of worry? No. So, you must do your work with full dedication and sincerity and leave the results to invisible powers. Your efforts, remember, will never go in vain. It's just that the rewards come in so many forms that we fail to appreciate the supreme powers. One must accept the results which are in front of us with all humility and gratitude and continue to work tirelessly towards our goals. Gentlemen, you must live this life fearlessly without worrying about the results of your actions which are beyond your control. Gentlemen, I do hope that this video will help you in living life fearlessly without any stress. For other videos on 7 Sutras of Successful Living and any preparation about Army, Air Force, Navy and the SSBs, do subscribe to my channel Rahagir India. Thanks for watching. See you soon with the next video. And yes, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with maximum people.